Good morning. Just confirm me, am I audible to you? And the PPT is visible? Basha, just confirm me. Okay. Did you solve the yesterday's PP questions, remaining questions? Did you solve the remaining questions, those who have left in the class? If not, just to solve it, okay? Okay, very good. Okay. We'll start our today's class. Let the others join in a few minutes. Okay. Today we are going to discuss about pollution, environmental pollution. How many types of pollution are there? There will be a water pollution, air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, noise pollution, radioactive pollution, and thermal pollution. Okay, so these are all the pollution we are having. Now, what is air pollution? Definitely, the air is getting polluted. How? Here, the contamination of atmosphere by harmful substances including gases, particulates, and the biological molecules. So through these means the atmosphere is getting contaminated. And some of the examples will be exhaust fumes, industrial emissions, and ozone depletion. Okay, this is what related to air pollution. And water pollution will be the pollution of water bodies. Okay, water bodies means what? Lakes, rivers, oceans, and groundwater, which makes them unfit for use. Initially, it will be fit for use, but after the pollution, as a result of pollution, it is unfit for use. Okay, and what are all those pollutants which pollute this water body means industrial waste, sewage discharge, oil spills. Okay, so these are all the pollutants which pollute the water. Now, land pollution. Land is getting polluted by humans. By human activities leading to the contamination of soil and disruption of ecosystem. Okay, and landfills and lot of waste will be tons and tons of waste will be dispersed in the land. Okay, that is what are landfills, littering, industrial waste, and dumping. Okay, so these are all the things which cause the land pollution. Okay, now noise pollution. Noise pollution means excessive or disturbing noise levels in the environment that disrupt normal activities and harm wildlife. See, these are, see, if it is a thing, a sound, if it is a sound which gives pleasant to our ears means that is called as a music. If it is tends to rather than the music, we are calling them as a noise. Okay, if it causing any disturbances, if the sound which cause any disturbances to our ears and brain, we are calling them as the noise. Okay, so that noise levels will disturb the environment and will disturb the normal activities and also the human wildlife. Some animals will feel free whenever there will be no noise. Okay, so those animals are getting disturbed by this noise pollution. And those examples will be traffic noise, industrial machinery, and concerts. Okay, now radioactive pollution. The presence of radioactive substance in the environment due to nuclear accidents, waste disposal, industrial process. Okay, so these are all the radioactive pollution, and these examples will be nuclear power plants and uranium. Okay, so these are all the radioactive element which cause the radioactive pollution. Okay, in case of any nuclear accidents, it will be very, very harmful than the above four. Okay, now thermal pollution. Thermal pollution is nothing but increase in water temperature of natural water bodies, often due to industrial process or urbanization affecting the aquatic life. So temperature increase will also leads to some of the disturbances in the organisms living in the earth. So this is also considered as a pollution if it goes beyond the normal level. Okay, now what are all the major pollutants, power plants, that is thermal discharge, and urban runoff. So these are all the things which cause the pollution, thermal pollution. Now, Now, these pollution, how it is going to affect an ecosystem. Okay, what will be the effect on ecosystem by these pollution? Okay, so first, air pollution, it causes respiratory issues. Okay, respiratory issues in wildlife and plants. Acid rain. Acid rain is majorly consists of sulfur dioxide. Okay, so this is the gas which affects the soil pH and aquatic ecosystem. Okay, disruption of pollution and seed dispersal mechanism. See, sulfur dioxide from industrial emissions, nitrogen oxide from the vehicle. So these are all the gas which causes the act as air pollutants. Pollutants is nothing but these are all the pollutants which is going to cause the pollution. Okay, a substance which cause pollution is called pollutant. Now, water pollution means it will be, see, in case of any water pollution, if the water is getting polluted, definitely the organisms which depend on these particular water is also getting affected. Okay, so definitely as a result, the biodiversity, that is the variety of organism, is also getting affected. Now, contamination of drinking water sources. If the water body is used for drinking purposes and if it is getting affected, if it is getting contaminated, definitely the water, the organisms which depend these water for drinking purposes is also getting affected. Okay. Now, in case of any water pollution, water is polluted, definitely there will be the growth of algae. Okay. And consider this as a water and the entire upper surface is covered by an algae and the sunlight will not reach the beyond this algal bloom. Okay, so this covering of algae throughout the surface is called as the algal bloom. So the sunlight which can't pass through the beyond this algal bloom. So the organisms depend on this sunlight is also getting affected. So that is called as the algal bloom. And eutrophication means pollution. Okay, development of other gases except the oxygen. So that is called as the eutrophication. And industrial influence, agricultural runoff, oil spill. So these are all the pollutants which cause the water pollution. Okay. Now, land pollution has an effects on the ecosystem. How? Soil degradation. Soil is getting degraded. Soil is getting degraded. If the soil is getting degraded, definitely the fertility of the soil is also getting affected. It is getting decreased. Now, the disruption, if the fertility, if the soil is getting degraded, fertility of the soil is also getting affected. Now, organisms depends on this particular soil is also getting affected. Okay. Also, the habitat destruction for soil dwelling organisms. So those organisms which will depend on the soil will entirely getting eradicated. Now, how these are possible? As usual, landfills, improper disposal of chemicals and urban sprawl. So these are all the things which cause the land pollution. Now, what are all the effects on ecosystem by these noise pollution? See, this is the stress and hearing loss will be result in some of the wildlife. So this will be the major impact actually. Now, who is going to cause this noise pollution? Definitely traffic. Construction activities. There will be a lot of drilling sound in the construction area and industrial machinery noise. So these are all the noise which cause the hearing loss in wildlife. Okay. Now, radioactive pollution. See, due to the nuclear accidents, if some people is exposed to these particular nuclear accidents, they may result in the new genetic mutation. And if the genetic mutation happens in this particular human being, definitely that is going to transfer to the next generation also. So it will be a major impact. Okay, now reproductive issue in wildlife, long-term contamination of soil and water. Can you give an example for this radioactive pollution? Does it happen in the world before? Very good. Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, the atomic bomb. Still, the effect is there. That is the effect of radioactive population. Okay, yes, of course it is. Now, so if we can think about that. And do you think anything about in India? Any chemical accidents? Any chemical industry accidents in case of in India? Very good. Bhopal tragedy. So these are all the examples for the radioactive pollution. Very good. Now, thermal pollution, alteration of aquatic habitats. Very good. Very good. Alteration of aquatic habitats and ecosystem. Here, there will be a reduced oxygen levels in the water body and it shifts in species composition and migration patterns. How it is going to happen? Once again, there will be the power plant. Okay. Now, how we can prevent these types of pollutions? First, air pollution. To prevent from these pollution, we can use catalytic converters in vehicles. Okay, catalytic converters means it can absorb the um, harmful gas and released as a less harmful gases. For example, lead oxide. Lead is a very harmful gas which is released from the vehicles. This catalytic converter will absorb this lead and gives as a less harmful material. This is what done by this catalytic converters. Okay, smokestack filters in industries promoting the electric vehicles. Electric vehicles is, according to me, electric vehicles is very good to use, but of course there will be certain disadvantage. But when compared to the gases will be emitted by the normal petrol vehicles, it will be very helpful. Okay. Now, water pollution, it will be prevented by sewage treatment plants. Nothing can be done apart from this. We can use eco-friendly detergents, enforcing laws on chemical discharge. So we have to be cautious whenever we'll drop even the, see, according to us, in our household, majorly household pollution will be higher. Okay. So what we can do is, we can at least segregate the biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. This is what the least thing we can do. Okay, we can't we don't want to try the biggest thing. We can do the small thing that can impact the environment in the biggest way. Okay, so this can be done by us. Now, land pollution, this can be prevented by recycling programs, landfill regulations, banning single-use plastic. See, single-used plastic. See, we can use the carry cover and we are, after taking the materials out of the cover, we are throwing this cover outside. And we should not do that. Okay. And we can reuse this cover. Also, single-use plastics. For example, a juice. If we buy a juice in the single-use plastics, after eradicating the juice, we are throwing out that. Now, all these throw out of these plastic will be taken, will be cleaned. After that, it will be recycled and reused. This is what a procedure the government is taking steps in that. Okay, so they are trying to banning the single-use plastics. Okay, now recycling programs and landfill regulations. See, landfills plays a major impact in land pollution, so we have to regulate something in the landfill. Okay, now how we can eradicate this noise pollution? This can be the noise barriers can be used on the highways, zoning regulation, and electric vehicles in urban areas. See, when compared to the normal petrol or diesel vehicle, the electric vehicle produce no sound. So we can better use this electric vehicle. Okay, now radioactive pollution. How we can prevent this radioactive pollution means we can secure storage of radioactive waste. So see, uranium will be treating in the nuclear power plant. Definitely there will be definitely there will be uranium in the container. So that container has to be very strong to hold that particular harmful radioactive material. Okay. So this is what a secure storage and decommissioning of old nuclear plants safely and international agreements on the nuclear safety. International agreements plays an important role when compared to the nuclear emission, because when two or more countries come together and put some agreement, they will think, if India do some agreement means only Indian thoughts will be circulate around each other. But when the important leaders from throughout the world, when they meet, the different ideologies will come across, and after that they designed an international agreement, and in that will be very effective when compared to the nuclear pollution. In thermal pollution, cooling towers with efficient design, green roof, urban planning to reduce heat island. So this is the thing we can do. Okay, that's all about the pollution. This will be the glimpse. Okay, then let's come to the question. Which of the following is a primary contributor to air pollution? Definitely, that will be the carbon dioxide. This is a greenhouse gases and a common pollutant emitted from the various human activities like burning fossil fuels. Okay. Now, which of the following pollutants is primarily responsible for smoke formation? Smoke plus fog is smog. BRD, there is no option like that, Basha. Okay. The pollutant which is majorly responsible for the smoke population is nitrogen dioxide. Okay. Along with some of the volatile organic compounds, this contributes to the smoke, okay, which is harmful to the human health and the environment, obviously. Now, what is the main source of nutrient pollution in water bodies? Water bodies is getting mainly affected by which of the following pollutant? Is it so? Obviously, that will be an agricultural runoff. Okay, because why these agricultural runoff is a major, say agriculture is also doing for a good purposes, but we are using a fertilizer, we are using a pesticide. So when it makes the water body, many organisms will be living in this water body. So that is getting affected by this particular fertilizer and the pesticides. Okay, so this is getting affected. The entire ecosystem will getting damaged there. That's all. Which of the following is a significant cause of the land pollution? Deforestation, recycling, organic farming, and soil erosion. Land pollution is mainly by the deforestation. See, when we remove maximum number of trees, when it comes to the tree, definitely there will be a structure called roots, and this will be the sand, and this root will uphold the soil. Okay, it tightly hold the soil. Okay, but when we remove most of the soil is getting loose and it is getting easily eroded. Okay, and this loss of biodiversity will be there, and this is the one which caused the land pollution. Okay, so this will be the major cause. And what is the common effect of prolonged exposure to high noise levels on wildlife? Increased reproduction rate, enhanced communication, stress and reduced reproductive success, improved habitat selection. That will be stress and the reproductive stress, reduce the reproductive success. Okay, so we know that. I'll explain this before. Now, which activity is a significant source of radioactive pollution? Here I'm asking the source. Solar energy production, nuclear power generation, wind turbine installation, geothermal energy extraction. Radioactive pollution, undoubtedly, it will be a nuclear power generation. Now, what is the consequence of thermal power pollution in aquatic ecosystems? Consequence. Here, we are asking the effect. What will be the impact on the aquatic ecosystems? That will be very good. Altered species composition. Okay. What contributes to visual pollution in urban areas? Green spaces, art installation, billboard advertisement, public parks. So this will be the pollution here. Visual pollution in urban areas, but we can't do anything that. That will be the billboard advertisements because it includes clustered landscapes with excessive signs, billboards, and advertisements. So this will be also a pollution. What is a major source of indoor air pollution? Solar radiation, household cleaning products, ocean currents, volcanic eruptions. Here they are asking an indoor air pollution. And that will be household cleaning products. Okay, because in the household we are using the cleaning products, smoke, and building materials. So all these things will be emitted from our household. Now, how does acid rain affects the ecosystem? Why acid rain is getting affected in the ecosystem? And what is there in the acid rain? And what will be the answer for this question? Very good. It lowers the soil pH and harms the aquatic life because acid rain, as the name suggests, it increases acidity. That is why here it lowers the soil pH. Okay, it is reducing below 7. Okay, and it reaching up to 1 and 2. So it is reducing the pH, and if it reduces the pH, definitely it is going to affect the vegetation as well as the organisms, which depends on this particular soil. Okay, now what is the consequence of eutrophication caused by a water pollution? What is eutrophication, first of all? See, eutrophication is somewhat. What is eutrophication? Anybody know? See, lot of nutrients will be accumulated in this particular water body. Yeah, very good. That will be a nutrient enrichment. This is a proper word to use. There will be a lot of nutrients, and if it is more food in that particular environment, definitely who is getting infected? Many organisms. It is not infected, it is invited. Many organisms are getting invited to that particular water body, and if many organisms occupied the water body, see the excessive growth of algae, plankton in that water body will be there. Okay, so this will be the process of eutrophication. Okay, so now what will be there in this particular eutrophication? What will be the consequences? Definitely, if there is an increase in oxygen levels, So you have to understand this question very clearly. Okay, so the answer will be algal blooms and the fish kills. Okay, see, it leads to excessive algal growth. As I said before, there will be more nutrients, and this nutrients will be invite many algae here, and algae level will also getting higher, and other organisms will also be there. Definitely, if many organisms are living here, they are going to take maximum number of oxygen, so definitely the oxygen level will be reduced here. And if there will be no oxygen, what will be the result? Fish is the major organisms living in the water body, so it also getting affected. This is what a process of eutrophication is. Okay. Now, how does soil contamination affects the ecosystem? Promotes plant growth, increases soil fertility, reduces biodiversity, enhances nutrient cycling. Definitely, that is going to reduce the biodiversity. Now, what effect does the noise pollution have on marine mammals? Definitely, that disturbs the feeding and communication. Okay, so noise pollution interferes with marine mammals' ability to communicate and locate the prey. Okay, here where they find the disturbances. And again, we know the same questions. Okay, so if possible, no, if possible, definitely you have to solve all the remaining questions. And if you have any doubts, you can ask me now. And for tomorrow, we'll finish the ecology. Okay. And wildlife in India conservation, CHIPCO movement, biodiversity, economic significance, conservation, hotspots of India. Kindly go through the hotspots of India and what are all the wildlife, what are all the national parks, okay, and what is CHIPCO movement. Okay, everything will be discussed in detail tomorrow. Okay, any doubts? Anything you want to know? Anything I want to clarify? Shall we wind up the class then?